Why is life so difficult? Why are we very shy, and how do we get rid of laziness? Life is difficult because we have a perception and we have a projection of life, how life should be. When something in life doesn't fit our projection, then we label that difficult. There can be people living in a wild forest. They have no running water. They have no heat. They have no electricity. And they collect their water from a river, and they cook their food with firewood, and their life is very basic, and they feel very happy. And there could be people, and they feel very happy, they feel very fulfilled. There could be people who live in a big city with electric water, with water, running water, with air conditioning, and they have all the luxuries and all the delights of a modern house, and they feel like their life is so difficult, they don't have enough, they feel unfulfilled. So basically, life is difficult because of our projection and our expectation of what we feel life should be. And when it doesn't fill that expectation, we constantly think about it, and we constantly feel sad about it, and we create sufferings for ourselves. Does that mean there is no actual suffering or no actual difficult life? Of course, there are people with difficult life, people who get very sick when they're very young, etc. Life is difficult. Life in samsara is difficult because of ignorance and the actions we create from ignorance. And from that, we have to experience the consequences of the karma we created from ignorance. Why are we shy? We are shy because we have a sense of self called the ego that we feel is very real. So if we do something wrong, we're afraid people are going to laugh at us, people are going to put us down, people are going to criticize us, because we hold on and subscribe to this very strong ego, this sense of self that we are protecting. Then we feel very shy, and we dare not say anything or do anything to be criticized. How do we get rid of laziness? We get rid of laziness one day at a time. Whatever we need to do, we do it one day. Next day we do it. We don't think about it, we just do it. When we do it one day at a time, we become used to it. It becomes a habit. Okay? Number 2. Guru, in our culture, we did many things to make happy a person who is not in this world. Is it compulsory to do that? I would think that this person is talking about doing rituals and pujas and offerings to someone who has passed away. And if we don't do that, they won't be happy. Well, some people do pass away and become spirits. So they do expect some offerings from us, some tea, some drinks, or something they feel familiar in life, or maybe a conversation. So if they don't get that, they feel unhappy, they create some upset in the family. But in most cases, people who passed away have already taken rebirth. Since they have taken rebirth, whatever you do for them, they're not going to know. So it's not necessary. And I think a lot of cultures who do things for the dead, I think it's more for the living, to feel that they have not forgotten the dead. So if your culture says that you have to do it and it's compulsory, maybe you should do it to make people in your family and your village feel happier, but it's not necessarily going to reach the person who has passed away. Number 3, Leyland Lama says, is there life after death? The whole basis of spirituality, of any religion, is based on the belief that there is life after death. Life after death definitely exists. In another day, in another session, I'll give you a more clear explanation of how the mind exists and how the mind is independent of the body, and how the mind takes rebirth independent of the body. But because it's been quite a long transmission and I don't want to tire people out, just a quick answer. Yes, there is life after death, and there are 6 realms where we can take life after death and different types of rebirth. Okay? The next one. Where do we go after death? After death, after we die, where do we go? To 6 realms as specified by the Buddha. And to get into a more learning and understanding, would be very good to read the Lamrim text by His Holiness Kyabje Pabongka Dorji Chang. So if you can get a copy of Pabongka Rinpoche's Lamrim, you'll be able to see more clearly where do we go after death and how do we purify negative karma for those who have passed on. But in short, we can make statues dedicated for the people who have passed on. We can save the lives of animals for those who have passed on. We can print Dharma books for those who have passed on. We can take on the vows of a monk or a nun and hold the vows well and dedicate it for those who have passed on. We can decorate temples. We can do charity. We can feed the homeless. We can help those who are sick. And we can dedicate those merits for those who have passed on. So those we can do. They don't receive the full merits, but they'll receive a part of it. Okay, the next one is, how do we purify our pet's karma? Same. How we purify a pet's karma will be the same as purifying a human karma. The method, everything is the same. Next one. I recite Doji Shudin's mantra every day. What mantra I recite first and what mantra I recite last? Is there a rule? There's no rule. The main mantra that you recite every day, Doji Shudin, which would be more than enough, is Om Benza Wiki Bitsuna Soha. The variations of his mantra, you can recite as and when you need. You can recite all, you can recite none. There's no fixed rule. How much you should recite, when you should recite, which one is first, which one's last. So, the main one you recite is Om Benza Wiki Bitsuna Soha. That would be very good. If you want to recite the other mantras, there's no fixed rule how much or which one's first. Okay? Next one. I don't have an altar at home. Can I pray every day without an altar? Of course you can. As I explained earlier, you don't have to have an altar to pray. Doji Shugden's everywhere. Next one. What is the karmic impact if the person committing the wrong action do not think it's wrong due to cultural differences, expectations, and understanding? Well, karma is not culture-based. Karma is universal law. Whether a person believes it's negative karma or not, if the action harms, it will be negative karma. So what does that mean? That means that if we commit something that's negative, for example, if we steal, whatever culture we belong to, stealing is negative. Now, why are some people born into certain cultures that they don't believe certain actions are negative? Through karmic propensity, through karmic results, they're born into cultures that feel sometimes negative action is positive. Okay? Someone here does Zambala and Dorji Shugden. Is there any sequence to do Yellow Zambala's prayer? Well, that's very good. Yellow Zambala is a Buddha. It is on the refuge tree. It is a fully enlightened being. And one doesn't need to have any doubts in Yellow Zambala. One should do Yellow Zambala's practice every single day and do it well and recite the mantra well. Om Zambala Zalan Jaya So, Om Zambala Zalan Jaya So. After you finish Zambala's practice, then you do Dorji Shugden's practice, which I've taught you today. All right. Eventually, I'll get this whole thing into Chinese so that people who are Chinese speaking around the world, which I get a lot of questions from, can also do. But do Zambala's practice first, and then afterwards do Dorji Shugden's practice. The Yidam's practice is always first. The Yidam's practice is always first. Okay? Why are Setra and Doji Shugden in the same mandala? I've got some people in my mandala. I wonder why they're in my mandala too. But anyways, why is Dorji Shugden and Setra in the same mandala? When Dorji Shugden was a teacher, when he was a teacher, before he arose as a Dharma protector, one of the protectors he practiced was Setra. So Dorji Shugden, when he was a guru, when he was a teacher, he was practicing Setra as one of his Dharma protectors. So he's very, very close to Setra. Because of that, after he arose as Dharma protector, Setra and him kind of rented a place together and moved in together and became good friends. So after Dorji Shugden became a Dharma protector, they naturally have a strong connection and they work together to benefit others, and they decided to form a mandala together because they had a connection before Dorji Shugden was even a protector. Okay? Another protector that Dorjishuden is very close to is four-faced Mahakala. Four-faced Mahakala is very, very close. And four-faced Mahakala has many forms. He has the four-faced Mahakala, and also he appears as a Brahmin, Indian Brahmin, Mahasiddha kind of person. So that's called Brahma Rupa. All right. So Dorjishuden is also very close to Brahma Rupa, or four-faced Mahakala, Gombo Sheshi, Gombo Sheshi. Gombo Sheshi Sena, four-faced Mahakala. Because also during his life, he practiced four-faced Mahakala as one of his protectors. So Dorjishuden practiced four-faced Mahakala, and he practiced Brahma Rupa, and he practiced Setra very intimately. So when he became a protector, he arose, and he's very close to them. Very close. Okay? This was shared to me by my teachers, by the way. Then a person here asked, can I keep giving out Dorjishuden's pictures and pendants even if I'm not fully understand Dorjishuden? Of course you can. You can give out Dorjishuden's pictures, statues, pendants to people even if you don't understand Dorjishuden well. For example, you don't have to understand what is in a multivitamin. You just know it's good and you can pass out to people. You don't have to wait till you understand the vitamins very well till you pass it out. If you know it's good, you pass it out to people, you pass out, you help them, as long as your motivation is to help them. All right? So can you pass out Dorjishuden to people to other people when you don't understand Dorjishuden well? Of course you can. Passing out something good can never bring something bad. Passing out something good can never bring something bad. What are the benefits of practicing Dorjishuden related with depression? Well, for depression, we must seek proper medical help. We must go to a proper doctor and sometimes proper medication. When we pray to Dorjishuden and we pray sincerely, a few things happen. Number one, he creates the merit so that you will find the method to end the depression, so that energy of depression will be purified. The second thing is, Dorjishuden will help you find the correct medical doctor, find the resources, and find the medical clinic where it will suit you to get the help that you need. So Dorjishuden in relation to depression can help us in many ways, such as the two examples I just gave. All right? The next one is, how do we know how much negative karma do we have, or do we just continue prayers consistently? You know your negative karma has ended and finished when you're sitting next to Shakyamuni Buddha and having coffee. No, that's a joke. You know your negative karma has ended when you yourself have become a Buddha. Until you're a Buddha, you know that you have karma to purify. So we should consistently do our prayers. Along with that, study of Dharma, application of Dharma, meditation, and holding vows. Okay? And after you start Dorjishuden's practice, you may have some funny accidents. You may have some strange dreams. Or you may have some weird feelings or a little bit ups and downs. That's a very good sign. Why is that a very good sign? It means that this practice is purifying and straightening out your life. So if negative things are happening when you start doing Dorjishuden's practice or Buddha's practice or any of these practices, it means the karma is being purified. How does it get purified? You have to experience the karma. It has to come out. It has to come out in the dream, or it has to come out by you experiencing it. So if negative things happen, or funny things happen, or accidents or whatever happened in the beginning, it is a sign that this practice is very good and you're purifying your karma. Okay?